Hey guys, welcome to week 6. You just caught me pretending to garden. Here's what we'll be covering this week. But before we get to that, I want to show you some joy. So that joy was great. Meadowlark loves bubbles. Now, I offer you a challenge. For 10 points extra credit in 3 to 5 sentences, tell me what the term bubble concept can mean. Bubble concept and how it relates to argument. So you invent it, you tell me what it means, why it's important. It has to do with your learning about argument and thinking about bubble as a metaphor. It's due Friday by 11:59 p.m. The first thing I'd like to talk about today is our big space project and the research paper. This is your final assignment for the class, besides a few other learning journals and smartenings. So I'm going to navigate to the tasks page and then click on the big space tasks so we can discuss it. The research proposal and the annotated bibliography have been building towards this larger research paper. And the research paper that you're going to write has 2 parts to it. So the final research paper is going to be 20% of your total score for the class. And before you get to that point, you're going to have a paper draft. So you're going to send me what you've got so far, and then I'll give you some feedback, and you'll turn in the final draft of the research paper, and I'll grade it, and that'll be going into the end score for the course. So the first thing to note here is that the draft of the research paper is worth 100 points of your homework score. So that's a pretty big value, and by getting that all complete, you're going to really boost that homework score for your final grade. So for the draft of the research paper, I expect it to be between 3 to 4 pages, or, and I do word counts, 750 to 1,500 words, complete in MLA format. For the draft, you include an outline for the rest of the paper. So once you get through that 750 to 1,500 words, I'd like you to go ahead and look at or add outline. So section on a topic, so just one section on a topic, and then just repeat the above. So what I'm asking you to do is outline the rest, or outline what you haven't written so far. Now for that first part, I really want to make sure that I get to see your thesis so that we can talk about it. So have that section heading, and then again, here you just talk about what's going to happen in that section. Okay, just 1 to 2 sentences. And again, I discussed that right here. The next part is that your argument should be using formal language. All right, so instead of using you or second person, I want you to practice using third person and say things like important, successful, effective, instead of totally awesome, cool, it's going to be great, or you think. Finally, or a few other things, use 3 sources for this paper draft. So I'd like to see that you're using sources and you're quoting and paraphrasing. Again, it's got to be MLA format, and use the Purdue OWL or Essentials of Argument, that's our course textbook, for help with citing. And I'll go over that a little bit more in this video. So that's the paper draft. Now the final paper has a little bit different expectations. So for your final paper, it's got to be between 1,750 and 2,500 words, so about 7 to 10 pages, works cited not included. Your argument should use formal language again, like I mentioned, and you've got to use 7 total sources, 2 of which should be from peer-reviewed journals, which you can find at the Hoover Library. Your other articles can come from these sources, but if there's another magazine that you want to use, please check with me for approval. Your argument, again, should use MLA citation, and it should be free from grammar, punctuation, and spelling mistakes. Research paper rubric here that I encourage you to check out, but that's it. And if you have any questions, just let me know. And again, we'll be meeting to go over your paper draft in another conference and get that final paper laid out. I've noticed many of you are still having trouble with are in-text citations and works cited pages. So in-text citations are when you cite in the text that you're writing, so in the main part of the essay, and works cited pages are the end text. So it's at the end of the essay and it identifies more specifically where you got your information. So I'm going to show you how you can easily find how to end text and in-text cite, just some help. So you can of course use the Essentials of Argument. You can look back at class notes where we talk about CASC, or you can go to the Purdue OWL MLA. So I'm typing in the search bar Purdue OWL MLA. And this is just a Google search, and it's formatting and style guide. And this Writing Lab is a wonderful resource for figuring out how to do this. And you can see over here on the left, we've got a number of helpful subcategories or categories that you can click on to find out about how to cite. So I'm just going to go to in-text citations, the basics. And when I click on that, you can scroll down and it gives you some information on how to do it correctly. So you can see right here, just with these 3 examples, how they introduce the author, and then they include the quote and the introduction of the quote with correct punctuation, and then they end it with the citation and the page number. Okay, so that's the gist of how you do it. Now, if you scroll down, there's in-text citations for sources without a known author, and if you keep scrolling, there's more types of citations that you can use. Okay, so again, please use this resource to help you with in-text citations. For MLA end-text citations or a works cited page, I'm going to direct you here to the MLA works cited page basic format. And as you scroll, you can see that it talks about the general rules for citations at the end. Now the names are listed alphabetically, and it talks about that here. They also show you how, if you have work by the same author but more than one work, how to cite them. So I'm going to keep scrolling down, and you can see how they have many different ways to cite depending on your situation. If you're citing books, periodicals, electronic resources, and it keeps on going. I'm going to definitely direct you to electronic resources. And we'll scroll down, and you can see how it has citing websites, department websites, a page on a website, ebooks, articles on a web magazine, an article on an online scholarly journal. These are things you're going to be using. So please make sure to take a look at this so that you're citing at the end text correctly. I'd also like to point you to a sample paper that they offer. And we'll just click on this sample paper and show you a few things. So now that I've highlighted it, let's go ahead and scroll down. And let's just get to that works cited page so you can see what it looks like. So this is what a works cited looks like in alphabetical order. And they have notes on how to do it. So please take a look at this, imitate the style, figure out how to end text cite correctly, use Purdue OWL as a resource, because I'm expecting you to. I'm expecting you to do this really well. So here I am at the Hoover Library page, and I'm going to show you another thing that you can do that can help you cite your sources, especially end text citation for that works cited page. So I'll just type in a keyword. I'll type locker rooms. Some of you are researching locker rooms, and there's a number of different hits here, 48,000. But I think that I want to narrow my search, definitely not from 1600, but to academic journals. And then I want to have full text so I can access it. And I'll go to scholarly peer reviewed. And you can see how the search results is narrowing. Finally, I'll bring the date up to about 2000. So again, this is one way to narrow your search and make sure that you're finding things that'll work for you. Okay, so I see this kinesiology review. They've got full text, and I also see this changing room, chemical engineer. I'm not sure if that's something that would work. It looks like it's more about operating control rooms. So I'll go ahead and click on this one, and you can see the full text is available. And what I can do is I can go ahead and go to cite, and then I'm given all these citation formats. So I'll just scroll down, and I'll find MLA, and here it is, and I'll be able to copy paste this and have my MLA works cited for that article very easily if I want to use it.